I woke up not too long ago, so you're getting kind of like my morning voice today. But yes, I've had a bit of a weird month in a sense that I wasn't really cooking for myself. But it was because I was traveling a lot and then staying with my parents. But it was also because I was a bit sad. And turns out not taking care of yourself doesn't really help that. So I really want to get back into making meals for myself again and having fun with food again. So today we're starting with some super simple 10-minute breakfast meals to slowly ease myself back in. There is an overnight recipe in this as well, but I feel like it still counts considering that the preparation time is no longer than 10. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. Let's start with this incredibly low effort but super nourishing bean wrap. First, I'm mincing 1 small red onion. In the back, my pan is heating up to medium, and then I'm adding a little bit of olive oil to it. I'm giving the onion about 5 minutes, or until it's translucent. We're using this can of mixed beans today. And then I'm adding the beans to the onion and sort of mashing everything with my wooden spoon. Next, I'm adding some store-bought mild tomato salsa. Here you can also get creative and use whatever ready-made sauce you have in your fridge and that you think fits. I'm giving everything about 3 minutes here. Taste test with salt and optionally some other spices. I ended up sprinkling some everything but the bagel seasoning on top. And then I'm adding some tomato slices and spinach, plus some vegan chili mayo. Yeah, it is easy to overfill these, but I managed in the end. There's enough filling to make a second or even a third one, depending on the size of your tortilla. I feel like this wrap very much references my cooking style from like 3-4 years ago. But it's so good though, and sometimes, I just gotta go back to basics. I, like many other people, absolutely adore sticky rice with mango, but I don't always have the time and patience to cook perfect sticky rice. So the next best thing, in my opinion, is the super simple coconut sticky oats. You'd be surprised how closely this comes to the original. To my pan, I'm adding some rolled oats, some salt, some vanilla, and water. I'm using rolled oats here because they will give you a bit more texture compared to quick cooking oats. Bring everything up to a boil, then reduce the heat to medium and allow this to simmer for about 5 minutes or until the oats are soft and have soaked up most of the liquid. Then you're going to add the full-fat coconut milk and the brown sugar. Give it maybe another minute or 2 of cooking, taste test, and see if it's sweet and salty enough. Don't be shy with the salt here. Depending on how sweet you're going here, this honestly really hits the spot for a sticky rice craving, especially when you want this for breakfast. Alright, moving on to this lovely tofu rice dish. This recipe was sent in via Instagram, so big shout out and thank you to you. First, I cut a block of firm tofu into chunks. I let a nonstick skillet preheat to medium-high with some vegetable oil. Alright, so my nonstick skillet seems to not be as nonstick anymore. Yeah, but anyway. I let the tofu pan fry for about 6 minutes. I sometimes forget that you don't always need to coat your tofu in a layer of starch for it to become crispy. While the tofu was cooking, I cut my tomatoes into thin slices and minced a clove of garlic as well. And then I also quickly mixed together all the ingredients for the sauce, which I couldn't find vegan oyster sauce. Once I was happy with the tofu, I removed it from the pan and replaced it with the minced garlic. After about a minute of cooking that, I added the tomato slices and tried to kind of push them all into one even layer. Next, I sprinkled everything with salt and sugar and allowed this to cook for another 5 minutes, or until the tomatoes were soft enough so I could crush them into a sauce. Then I added the cooked tofu back in, plus the soy sauce mixture. And I let everything cook until thickened for about 2 to 3 minutes. And that is basically it. Feel free to add in some spring onion and serve this with either some bread or some rice or even some noodles. I've been craving savory breakfasts more and more recently, so this is perfect. So I've seen this cheesecake bowl on TikTok recently and was curious to see whether it would work in a plant-based format as well. So the night before, I am thoroughly mixing together some thick protein soy yogurt, vanilla pudding powder, chia seeds, some more vanilla, and some agave syrup. That is shower gel, Mina. I need to go to bed. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. And then when it comes to the topping, I just simply heated up some frozen strawberries together with a little bit of water, some lemon zest, and a tiny bit more agave syrup. And then I mashed everything down with my wooden spoon until somewhat smooth. And then I put this into the fridge overnight. So this turns into this super fresh, but still rich tasting yogurt bowl. Now, if you were to add some cookie crumbles on top, then we're really talking cheesecake resemblance. Quick drink recipe intermission. If you watched my recent New York video, you will know that I completely fell in love with this red bean matcha concoction, and I knew I was gonna have to recreate this at home immediately. First, I'm mixing together a teaspoon of matcha, a teaspoon of brown sugar, and a splash of hot but not boiling water. So we're creating a matcha shot. I'm actually using strawberry flavored matcha here, but honestly the strawberry fits super well in this. Now set the matcha aside to cool down a little bit, and in the meantime, grab some sweetened red bean paste. I added about 2 tablespoons of this to the bottom of my glass. Next, I put in the ice cubes, followed by a plant milk. Last but not least, the matcha. It's insane how simple this is, and yet how the red bean elevates your matcha latte experience like infinitely. My question to you is, what else can I do with the red bean paste? Because of course I could make mochi, or these like red bean paste filled buns that I've made on here not too long ago. But both of those recipes require quite a bit of effort. So I'm also considering freezing the bean paste. I mean, I will be drinking a lot of these all week, now I know that. But, For this last and final idea, I will once again be trying my best to recreate something I had in New York. This cheesy mushroom sandwich. First, I'm cooking the mushrooms. So I'm bringing a nonstick skillet with a bit of vegetable oil and vegan butter to medium heat. And then I'm chopping up this giant mushroom. I think this is the first time we have portobello on the channel. But you can of course totally go for cremini mushrooms or whatever mushroom you prefer. Allow this to cook for about 6-7 minutes. Meanwhile, cut up the bread and grab your protein, which could just be tofu. This is probably as close as we're gonna get to sausage patties, but I also bought some smoked tempeh, which I've actually never seen before. I'm gravitating towards the smoked tempeh. I don't know why, but it tastes like cheese to me. So the sandwich goes as follows. Some store-bought green pesto, vegan pizza cheese, some tempeh slices, some of the cooked mushrooms, more vegan cheese. I'm trying my best to press down the sandwich here. However, I feel like I cut my bread too thick. Like this didn't really do much. I was a little disappointed with the cheese melt, and so we're trying this again, but this time using my quote-unquote sausage patty. So I'm cooking that up according to instructions. And then I thought, hey, the deli listed melted cheese specifically as an ingredient, so why not melt the vegan cheese separately and then add it to the sandwich? And that worked pretty well. This version came quite close to what I had in New York. The only difference is I didn't make that parsley pesto spread myself, and I probably should have because that's what really made it. But since this is more of a quick, low-effort video, I thought putting in another dip recipe would have been maybe too much. But I'm going to add a little footnote here. Like, I have a huge Notion page of like things I said I was gonna do eventually in videos. So there are a bunch of other things that I also need to get to, but I really want to nail this sandwich. So thank you so much for watching. That is all the recipes I have for today. I missed filming recipes so much. Having a cooking channel definitely helps motivating myself back into cooking, but I also want to take that into my regular day-to-day when I'm not filming. Something I'm working on. If you haven't seen my New York video yet, I will link it up here and down below. I spent about 3 weeks editing this one, and it's probably top 3 favorite videos I've made for this channel. Check it out. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night, and I will see you very soon. Bye.
I can see it in your eyes, you're angry. Regret got shit on what you're feeling now. Mad cause you ain't like me. Oh, you're mad cause nobody ever did it like me. All the care I would take, all the love that we made. Now you're trying to find somebody to replace what I gave to you. It's a shame you didn't keep it, Alicia, Katia. I know that you gon' hear this on the man. Yeah, I said it, bitch, I'm the man.